Hey there, thanks so much for clicking on our video. I'm Melissa.
And I'm Ashley, and we are the hosts of Bible and Banter.
Bible and Banter is a space for real conversations through the lens of faith.
We hope to be a reminder that we serve a good God
who left us a living word
to tackle all that life throws our way.
Hey, so let's get into it.
So today we are talking about purpose pain points. And this is just because I think sometimes we're always like inundated with like, oh, I'm walking in my purpose, or we get so excited when we feel like we finally have received even a glimpse of what our purpose might be, like why God placed us here, like the things that he wants us to accomplish. And I think sometimes we get so excited, but no one really talks about the pain points that you may encounter as you walk in this purpose. Like, I think sometimes we over glamorize it, as we do with everything in this society.
We do.
But and the reason why, and it's not that I wanted to like that we wanted to like try to I don't know, dampen the spirit about around purpose or anything like that, and we want to be Debbie Downers. But we want to make sure, we think it's important to talk about something like this aspect of purpose, because we don't want anyone to when they do get hit with these pain points to start questioning whether or not it was actually their purpose or what God intended for them to do. Because why am I experiencing all of this pain?
Exactly.
Why am I experiencing all of these obstacles, and why have things become so tough and so hard?
That is the main point. I think the main thing that we're trying to do is just take just show you the reality of it all.
Exactly.
I think that in our fantasy world, we're walking in purpose when we have all of these physical things that come with it. Say, for instance, a lot of money, we have a lot of notoriety, but understand this, that Jesus never seeked out any of those things ever, and he was the number one person walking in purpose. That was his whole point of life, was to walk in the purpose that he set out and set forth for all of us. But I think that's our main point. Our main point is, you're going to be walking in purpose, but that doesn't mean it's going to look like one thing. So if you are not if you're not the number one person on social media, or the person that everyone goes to for, any questions about the Bible or any questions about Christianity, that does not mean you're not walking in purpose. That does not mean you don't have purpose in this life. Not everyone's purpose is going to look the same, and the realities of walking in it is going to look different for everyone.
And pain points are going to show. And so we wanted to talk about like what are some of the types of pain points that might appear as you walk in, as you start walking in your purpose and really trying to fulfill what you feel like God has placed on your heart. And the first way it could show up is really within yourself. Imposter syndrome, which we talked about it before. Like, I think the first thing the enemy tries to do is attack your mindset and your own beliefs about who you are and what you should be doing.
Always.
And so just know, like, yes, you will come to a point where you feel like God, are you really using me? Like, I know that, like, that's how I was. I'm like, really, me? I mean, I'm not the one that like grew up going to church 3 times a week every day, who knew my Bible from Genesis all the way to Revelation, can quote any kind of scripture. I wasn't that person. And so when God started using me in certain kind of ways, part of me, it was kind of like this imposter syndrome, because I'm like, really, me? Not Sister Sherry, who's been, who's leading children's ministry and doing this and this.
Yes.
But me, you want me, flawed me. And so, but I had to get to a point where, and it was really through just really staying in my word, and that I realized, like, that I had created what it was to be worthy of God using you. I had created the perfect disciple, the perfect vessel that God can use, and what I created was not me, but it was through reading the Bible and seeing how He used people who were the least of their tribe, and the least of the families within the tribe, and the least of the family that is already the least within the tribe. You know what I mean? And realizing, you know what, like, God never called perfect people. Like, the beauty is that He used flawed people for perfect missions and perfect
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
No, it's exactly that. And I love that Ashley brought up that point, because I think every single person who is walking in purpose has that same feeling. And it's like, why would God call me? And if you think about it, that's how you know God definitely called you. Because if you look in the history of it all, looking in the Bible, every single person he called has all said the same thing.
Exactly.
Noah wanted someone else to be the, like, why do I have to be the one that builds a freaking ship, you know, when there's no rain at all ever? Why do I have to be the person that has to go talk to Pharaoh? Why do I have to be the person that, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
No one wanted to, no one was like, I am purpose for God. And it's going to be me. It's always the person that you least expect, and maybe not the person you least expect, but I think that that's the part, the beauty of it all is in purpose. What is it? I've seen this before. It's like he qualifies the called. He doesn't call.
He doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called.
Yeah, I think that that's the exact. That's it. Like, that's it, because there's no perfect person who's going to be called by God. So if you're feeling like, God definitely didn't call me. Like Ashley said, I don't lead in Bible study. I don't lead in worship. I don't do this, that, and the third. But that's just that ideal character in our mind, right? Who we've created to be the perfect representation of who God may call.
Yeah, exactly. And just another way that it could, another pain point that could show up while you're walking in purpose is just obstacles and distractions that show up just to simply to throw you off of the path that God has placed you on. And I say obstacles as in sometimes it just seems like you're jumping over hurdle after hurdle after hurdle. Like, as soon as you say you want to accomplish something, like boom, there goes one hurdle. Boom, there goes another one that you have to clear. And you have to know, like, it was never going to be easy for you to accomplish this. You know what I mean? And for you to walk and bring this purpose to fruition. Like, it was never going to be easy. And we have to remember that. So we have to be very cognizant of when things start showing up and when we start slowing our momentum because of those things.
You know what, Ashley? She just read me right now. She didn't realize it, but she did, because this is the thing about purpose. We like seek it out as Christians. It's like we're low-key obsessed with it. Like, I've got to know my purpose. Right. When really the purpose of every Christian is to glorify the kingdom and also to bring more kingdom men back to the kingdom. Men and women, sorry. That's your purpose. Period. Now, how you're going to go about doing that is specific to your calling. And we can go into that in another video, but I feel like y'all need to listen to Ashley, because listen, anytime that you have found your calling in life and it aligns with the way where God is taking you, do not be shocked. Do not be surprised when something out of nowhere seemingly just comes to distract you.
Absolutely.
It just seems like, wait, let's give an example. You are doing so well in your studies. You're taking time. You're doing your morning devotionals, honey. You're waking up 5 a.m. You're getting a good workout in. You are just doing everything right, seemingly, or you're just getting your life back in order. And then all of a sudden, someone just drops in to distract you, right? From all that you've been doing. And with that one distraction, you are completely thrown off from where you were before and are now in a totally different direction. And then you finally slow down enough to be like, wait a second. Right. Now, I was doing well. So what was it that got me to where I'm at right now? Why am I so stuck in the rut? Why am I so distracted? Wait. Okay, now I'm remembering. So exactly what Ashley said. If you're like going full speed and you're not realizing why all of a sudden things are starting to, like, it feels like you're starting to trip up, or like you're moving kind of fast, you got to slow down enough to realize the distractions are there. And it's coming at you because you're walking toward where you need to be. Trust and believe, you got a number one hater, and it's not one human being. It's only one enemy. That's it. There's only one. Now, does he take different forms? Yeah. But he's coming at you 100% because he sees the direction that you're going in and where God is leading you, and the people that he's gonna call back, you're gonna get called back to. So he's got to get in the way of all of that.
And he knows your patterns and he knows your comfort zones. And so don't think obstacles and distractions are always coming in the form of something that's bad. Ooh. Sometimes it's something that you actually enjoy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so you need to be very cognizant of really when you're thinking back, like, man, how did I get thrown off my path? Like, man, you know what? I realized, you know, I haven't done this in a while. I haven't done this in a while, but really reevaluating and looking at what could possibly be a distraction. And it's not, you know, it could be in the form of a person. It could be even in the form of an opportunity.
Bam.
And so I think it's making sure like you're really looking at, okay, is this truly an opportunity that actually connects with my purpose? Or is this an opportunity that's giving me this instant gratification that has now made me turn from working on the hard work I should be putting into my purpose that isn't bright and shiny.
She's giving y'all the keys.
You know what I mean? And so
y'all don't even realize she's giving y'all the keys, because this is the thing, guys. Y'all need to understand. I really want to bring it back to the Bible, because who we need to seek after and be like and idolize is Jesus Christ. Listen, in those moments whenever Jesus was finally getting some notoriety and fame and seemingly opportunities to further the kingdom, what did Jesus always do? He always came back to that quiet place. Anytime that he was starting to get a little bit of fame, he all of a sudden disappeared. Look in the Bible, I'm telling you. He disappeared. He went to a quiet place. He separated himself from that, because that's never what he's been seeking out. Now, are we saying if a great opportunity comes up, don't take it because the Lord would want you to have it? You need to pray over that and see if that is the direction in which the Lord is taking you.
Pretty much discern whether or not it's truly an opportunity.
If it's like a great opportunity,
isn't an opportunity.
That's what I'm saying. Like it could be a great and wonderful opportunity, but that may not be the way you need to go.
Or it may not be your opportunity.
There you go. I'm just
what I mean?
Remember to go back to that quiet place. It is so important that you stay there. And even whenever certain things are looking really up for you, it's wonderful that that's happening for you. But always go back to the quiet place, because it's always going to lead you to where you need to go next.
And not to draw this point out, but I just wanted to give you, I'll give you an example of when I say an opportunity may not actually be an opportunity. So where I am now in my career, I'm at a great place, but I'm still at a point where I had just shared with Melissa, like, listen, after I interviewed for this job a year ago, I'm like, listen, I'm telling you now, this will be the last job I interview for, because after this, my goal is to ultimately walk away from corporate and to be doing creating full time. You know what I mean? Like, and I was just telling her that, and I have a job now where I have a lot of flexibility. And it's not a job where it leaves me drained by the end of the day that I can't work on things. You know what I mean? And so I promise, I just had this conversation with her, and when I say the next day or two, I receive a call from a recruiter from another notable corporation, and the job title was a little bigger than the one I have now, and it was all of these great things, and it was like, you'll be doing this, and you'll be working on this, and you'll be working on this, and you came highly recommended, almost to the point where it's like, listen, if you go for this, you're probably gonna get it. You know what I mean? And so I talked to the lady, and I'm like, okay, you know what? And I just told her I wasn't gonna interview for nothing else. But I took this phone call.
Like, dang, why did I say that?
I took this phone call. But when I say, so they were supposed to send me this link to continue on, but thank God they didn't send it to me that immediately. And so it gave me time to think, and I was like, you know what? This is a great opportunity. However, they are going to work me to death. To the point where, and even though it seemed like great things, to the point where it would leave no time for me to really put in my any energy into something outside of my 9 to 5, which is ultimately my goal, is to get, you know, Bible and banter off the ground, to get my other, you know, my personal branding off the ground. Like, and so I had to remember, yes, this is a great opportunity, but this really isn't my opportunity. You know what I mean? My opportunity is staying where I'm at, in a place that allows flexibility and that leaves me enough energy to work on my own own thing. That is where my focus, but see, that could have been a distraction, and that could have been an obstacle, even though it didn't present itself. It presented itself as an opportunity. So that's just one example of what we mean by really evaluate.
So there you go. Exactly. Modern day example. We can give you Bible stories, and y'all of course have read them all and know, but
Moses said kill me, but and God was like, I'll give you somebody, I'll give you the elders to make sure that we lighten your load and you don't have to carry this in your I mean, I'm just like
it didn't stop in Bible days, guys. It's been happening. It's still happening even now. Even tomorrow it's gonna be happening. So yeah, just make sure you you are rooted in the word. You're rooted in where the Lord has you going, and then just go to that quiet place. Always just prioritize that, because that's gonna be your guiding light.
Yeah, absolutely. And then our last point, and this is the one that is most likely guaranteed to happen, and you need to prepare your heart for it, and not allow it to discourage you. But another pain point that can show up while you're walking in your purpose is not being well received by the people closest to you, and not being supported by the people that you thought you would be supported by, and not being encouraged by the people that you thought would be your number one support system and encouragers. And
okay. Drink some water. It's a hard truth pill to swallow, but take it down. Realize exactly what Ashley's saying is it's coming. There is no look bad for them, or maybe that happened to you, but it won't happen to me. No.
Yeah, and it can be, and this is one of the ones where it's just, it may not necessarily like slow your pace, but it can make the walk a little more unpleasant.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where this is really the part where you have to not get caught up in any bitterness and just holding a grudge in your heart, because I think our hearts are so much tied to our purpose, what we feel our purpose is, and the way that, you know what I mean, the way that you feel that God is the path you feel like God is using for you to fulfill this purpose. Yes. And I think because it's so rooted in our heart, we want everybody close to us to just be like, oh, we're so proud of you. We see what you're doing. You were meant to do this. When really there might be some that are kind of like, oh, you gonna write a book?
It's like, you went that way?
Okay. I mean, do you know anybody in the industry? Oh, so I mean, but are you gonna make any money with? Like, you know what I mean? And so now you're like, whoa,
right.
I wasn't expecting, and that's just like one example, but I mean, just know, like, you have to be prepared to show people grace, because oftentimes people put their own restrictions that they place on themselves on other people.
Right.
So because they can't see themselves doing certain things, they also then cannot see you doing that, right?
That's it. So that's ultimately what it is. Like, a lot of people project their insecurities onto you, and so it's natural for you to assume that people who seemingly know your heart would want to support you because your heart is in whatever this project is. But unfortunately, not everyone sees things the way that you do when they're dealing with their own struggles. So yeah, they may project it onto you and give you those doubts, and so it is hurtful. So just being honest about it, it is hurtful and sometimes discouraging, especially with closer family and friends,
right,
who may not necessarily believe in you. But like Ashley said, you have to be able to show people grace. There's also a saying, what is it? A prophet is always like lesser known in his own town, or never celebrated in his own hometown.
Yeah.
It was in the whole Bible. Sorry. Woo, that is embarrassing. Y'all know what I'm talking about, but if you didn't know, it's in the Bible.
Right, Jesus wasn't received.
All they saw. Anyway, all they And understand that it's okay for you to feel hurt in those moments, but remember that the Lord gave you that vision for a reason. You will see that thing through. And even if it's not the people who you grew up with backing you up,
right,
people will understand and know where you're coming from because they've gone through that same thing.
You know, and I've said it before, when I say, you know, as I got into like doing influencing and content creation on Instagram, you know, I thought like at least like my closest people were gonna make sure they're liking every post, engaging with everything, you know, subscribing to the YouTube channel, checking out my blog, you know what I mean? And honestly, it's been complete strangers who are also going after the same, walking in the same purpose, who have been like my number one like supporters, and reaching out and like, listen, no one is going to support you more than someone across the world, like also going after them.
It's true. It's true. And what is up with that? I don't know.
I know. But in that, I do want to say, when you do realize like that maybe who you thought would be more supportive than they are, if they aren't, one, yes, show them grace, but also set appropriate boundaries with that person, especially if you are going through the first pain point that we talked about, which is imposter syndrome.
Definitely.
The worst thing that you could do is not set boundaries around someone that is almost validating your feelings about yourself, which aren't great. So if you are already feeling like, you know what, I don't know if I really heard from God, I don't know if he really wants to use me, and then you have that person that's questioning like, well,
I don't know either.
Are you sure? I don't know either.
I also, the Lord told me to tell you. The Lord told me to tell you that's not right. It's like,
so you wanna be sure to set appropriate boundaries for appropriate seasons. You know what I mean? And so that's what I will show grace, but also protect yourself in certain seasons as well. So
exactly, that was beautiful. And I don't need to add anything else to that because that was wonderful. That was it right there. Remember to always know where your quotes come from. We'll end on that. But if y'all made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate y'all. Has anyone gone through any of this? Are y'all going through any of these things
like
right
what
now?
Pain points have you guys experienced with walking in your purpose, like or feeling like you've gotten some glimpse of your purpose, or whatever it might be, or the season that you find yourself in? What are some of the pain points you're in, and what are some of the ones that you've overcome? Let us know how you overcame them.
Please. And if you know someone who is looking for their purpose, or maybe just found their purpose and needs some encouragement in going through with their calling, please send them this video.
Absolutely.
If you liked any of these things, be sure to let us know. If you think that we should go into more detail about any certain thing that we brought up today, also let us know that. We're always open to any topics you guys want us to cover. But yes, that is it, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to tune in next Sunday for another real and relevant topic, where we're talking about everything ranging from friendships and relationships
to career and navigating corporate America as a Christian. All of it. We are going to be talking about all of that. But in the meantime and in between time, please, 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 please always remember that Jesus loves you.
We love you.
And you are more than enough.
Bye.